Hello there. Welcome to Transforming Your Life through Boudoir Photography. I am Argentina Leiva. I am the owner and the founder of Artist Seduction Boudoir Studio in Chicago and Austin. I want to thank you for your interest in learning more about boudoir photography and what it can do for you. And I really want to spend some time not just telling you about packages and pricing, how to prepare for your session, but what boudoir photography really can do for you. I approach boudoir photography from a very different point of view because it is a life-changing experience. It changed my life, and I'm pretty sure that if you identify with anything that I have to say, it can also change yours. So who is this for? Who would be the ideal person to, do a boudoir session, especially to come to my studio? So, well, if you are the type of woman who want to feel beautiful just as you are, that you struggle either recently or for some time or all your life to feel beautiful. Also, if you're looking to celebrate your relationships, your accomplishments, a milestone birthday or an anniversary, definitely, I have a message for you. Quite often I get women, and probably this is one of you, who want to see what your husband sees in you, even after so many years. A lot of women tell me, it's like, I want to see what my husband sees because he tells me that I'm beautiful and I just don't see it. I just don't find myself attractive, and I want to see what he sees because he's just crazy about me and I want to make him happy. So this is definitely for you. Or if you are turning 40, 50, 60, or 70, and you want to feel sexy and beautiful at your age. Also, if you are a plus size woman, a curvy woman, and you want to have proof of how beautiful and sexy you are. Quite often, I get plus size women that come to me that they confess to me, I just want to have one good picture of me. I hate the camera. I hate how I come out in pictures. I don't have any pictures of me. I just want one. And believe me, they end up taking 20 with them. Also, just what I was saying, if you've never felt beautiful in your life, either because you're a plus size woman or because you're too thin and you don't have breasts, or you have very thin hair, for whatever reason, but you just never felt beautiful in your life and are tired of it and will do anything to change that. If you want to love your new body after having kids or a physical trauma like cancer, and you have to have a mastectomy, or had an accident and now you have new scars, or you have a major change in your weight, either you gain weight, a lot of times it's because of health issues, or you lost a lot of weight and you just don't recognize yourself anymore. Also, if you want to feel good about who you are after a life event like a divorce or an infidelity or mental abuse, those events really make us feel less than deserving and make us feel less than worthy. So, and you really want to change that after something major happened in your life. If you're the type of woman who invests in herself and will do anything to get what you want, definitely this is for you, because doing a boudoir session is an investment in yourself. This is not pretty pictures. This is an experience in which you are going to invest to have that experience. Also, if you're getting married, if you are a bride and you want to have an amazing quality gift for your future husband that will make him feel the luckiest man alive, you are also in the right place. Now, who is this not for? And I really want to be very clear on this because I don't want to waste your time. So if you're just looking to take pretty pictures for your boyfriend, or want to see how you look naked or in boudoir pictures, or just looking to get one pictures or a small package, this is not for you. If you're not willing to invest in yourself, I'm not saying necessarily with me, but if you're just not that type of person that invests in something for you, this is not for you. If you don't make your own money, or you have to ask for permission or for money to your husband or your fiance or your boyfriend or anyone, I truly believe this is not for you, because this is something that it has to be a personal choice, and you have to do it for yourself, and nobody has the right to tell you what you can or cannot do. So you have to have your own money, or have an amazing husband that would just give you what you want. So again, this is not for you if you just don't have a way to make a financial decision on your own. And if you're not the type of person that would invest in yourself with quality products and services, this is not for you. Boudoir photography is something very personal, and it's not cheap. And it's very high quality. So it's definitely something that you have to make an investment. And if you're not the kind of person that invests in quality, that is always looking for bargains or always the cheapest option, this is not for you. And finally, if you don't see the value of investing in photography, then this is time for you to just get out of this workshop and do something more productive with your day. I really don't want to waste your time. Now, on the other hand, if you're still with me, let's get started. I have a question for you. You came to this workshop because you felt there was something wrong, and somehow you believe that through boudoir photography you can change the way you feel about you. So imagine what your life would look like if you woke up every morning feeling happy and proud of who you are. If when you look in the mirror you love what you see without changing your body, just as it is. If your husband or friends or relatives tell you that you are beautiful and you believe them because you know it to be true. And if you stop to hate your relationship with your body and start a love affair instead, what would your life look like if you became a confident woman and feel deserving of love, respect, and appreciation just as you are? Just imagine your life if this was your reality. If you have images of you looking absolutely beautiful, if you were so in love with the person that you are, regardless of what you look like, and what if you didn't care about what people think because you have a very high opinion of yourself? Wouldn't that be awesome, that we really truly don't care what people think of us, because all that matters is what we think of us, and it's a very high opinion. And what would life look like if you knew that you are enough? That's a question that, it has so much depth, because we all have that doubt. Am I enough? So in the next hour, I will tell you my personal story of how I transformed my life from feeling less than worthy to a life of high self-esteem and body confidence. you're going to understand why it is not your fault the way you feel about you, so that you stop blaming yourself or your body and start loving it and feeling grateful for it. How the high self-esteem cycle works so that you can change how you feel about you and affect in a positive way every aspect of your life. How a bridge is necessary to jump from a life of low self-esteem to a cycle of high self-esteem so that you can find your own bridge to change your life once and for all. The one thing that is stopping you from feeling beautiful and fulfilled, and it has nothing to do with the way you look. And finally, what the Boudoir experience is about and how it has helped thousands of women transform their lives so that you can decide if it can help you achieve your own transformation. Oh, and also I'm going to tell you in the next hour how to prepare for a boudoir session if you think this is for you, so that when you see your images, you are beyond thrilled. And also the type of investment you can expect and payment options so that you can see that it is more affordable than that you've imagined, and most women are able to afford it. Now, what makes this different and why am I doing this? There is absolutely nothing for sale. I'm not here to sell you absolutely anything, just unique information to help you transform your life, even if you never do a boudoir session. I promise you that. It's going to be a lot of information that is really going to help you change your life for good. And why stick around? I really encourage you to stay with me. I know it's an hour of your day, and I know how busy you are, but I have a gift for you at the end to really help you put all this together and go on in your way, and really doing something very unique for you, and it's going to be totally free. So I have a question for you. Do you feel you are not pretty enough, thin enough, smart enough, in general, not good enough to deserve love, appreciation, respect, success, wealth, and the life you dream of? Or do you always compare yourself with other women, models, celebrities, etc., and feel that unless you look like them, you're not beautiful? Or do you tell yourself that beauty comes from the inside and your looks shouldn't define your worth, however, you just can't get to feel that way? Or do you have a constant battle with your body and wake up every morning thinking how you're going to dress so you don't look fat, or how you're going to starve your body or punish it in the gym so you don't gain weight? Or when you hear a compliment about your looks from your husband or friends or strangers, you deflect it by telling or thinking, well, they have to say that because they're your friends, or they're your husband, or she's my mother, she's my sister, she's my daughter. So you just cannot take compliments because you don't believe them to be true. Or are you turning 40, 50, 60, or 70 and feel you're old or getting old and act not beautiful and sexy anymore? Did your body change due to pregnancy or physical trauma or a change in weight and you don't recognize yourself anymore? Have you endured a divorce or an infidelity that left you feeling worthless and less of a woman? Have you come to a point in your life that you want to celebrate your accomplishments, your life, your blessings, and want to capture this moment forever? Or have you been married for a long time, your kids are gone, your husband of many years is still deeply in love with you, or you are in a new relationship and have overcome challenges of marriage and relationships and want to celebrate and honor your relationship in a unique way? Or do you feel stuck? You have a blessed life, a husband that loves you, or a great relationship, beautiful kids and financial stability, but you just don't feel 100% happy and fulfilled because you don't feel good about you. Or you just can't seem to feel fulfilled about your life and who you are. There is something hanging over your head, a little voice telling you that you will be happy when you're thinner, or when you get a tummy tuck, and when you find a man of your life, or when you get divorced, or when you lose weight, or when you get bigger boobs, or when you can make men see your beauty. So if you identify yourself with any of those questions, I have awesome news for you. If any of these feels like you, none of those things are your real problem. The real problem is that you have not made one essential jump I'm going to show you today. So this jump will unlock the door to feeling beautiful just as you are, feeling good about who you are, recognizing you are an amazing woman and feel proud of yourself, knowing that you are enough. It will unlock the door to improve your relationship with yourself, your partner, your family, your friends, and people you encounter in your life. It really is going to affect every aspect of your life in a positive way by making this jump. It will unlock the door to becoming a confident woman, capable of achieving your dreams. Having high self-esteem and body confidence, feeling worth of love, appreciation, and respect of who you are, and not for what you look like. You will find total fulfillment so that you can start feeling happy for who you are, what you have, and what you have accomplished. I hope you're getting excited here. So here's what you need to know. This is the one jump you need to make in your life to create a permanent and irreversible change in your life. A life of fulfillment, feeling good about you, and having amazing relationships. And this is just one little tiny thing you have to do, and it's something that nobody tells us that we need to do, and everything is so complex. Well, I'm going to break it down to you piece by piece and show you exactly what is the piece that you're missing to make that transformation. I'm going to start by telling you my personal story. This is a picture of me when I was like 26. And at that time of my life, I had, in the eyes of the world, accomplished a lot. Had a master's degree. I came to a new country, learned a new language. I was working as an engineer, and financially I was, making good money. I was healthy. However, I didn't feel beautiful. I didn't believe that I was beautiful. I didn't think I was thin enough. I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't worthy of love. I believed that I couldn't get what I wanted. Good things, so the things that I wanted happened to others, but not to me. I felt that I really wasn't important at all. And I felt out of place. I didn't feel I belonged anywhere. So all these feelings took me to many decisions in my life. The one that affected the most in my life is that I married and divorced 3 times. And the first time that I married, I was only 26, but I was feeling so lonely and so worthless and so ugly and fat that I never thought anybody would want me. And I was already done with my master's degree, and it was expected of me to now get married and have children. And I thought that's never going to happen to me. So when somebody asked, I took it because I never thought nobody else would want me. So I have very low self-esteem. And I did that 3 times. I ended up getting married and getting divorced, and it just went through, all my 20s and most of my 30s not feeling good about myself and making very mediocre decisions on how to live my life. So fast forward to my late, probably no mid 30s, early 30s. I became a photographer after my divorce. This was actually my first divorce. I really needed to get busy and to overcome the depression of being divorced and not feeling good about myself. So I picked up a camera, and eventually I became a wedding photographer. And I was still working as an engineer. I would do that over the weekends, and it kept me busy, and I really liked it because I worked with very beautiful people. Everybody in a wedding always looks so good. And so if I couldn't be beautiful, at least I was working with beautiful people. That's how I felt. So I did weddings for many, many years, and it was my brides that started asking if I would do boudoir sessions for them. And I said, like, yes, of course I can do that. Who doesn't want to photograph girls that look like models? So that's how I started my career as a boudoir photographer. I started to photograph these beautiful, thin, curvy, young, flawless girls that looked like models, and they were my clients. And so I actually stopped doing weddings to dedicate myself to do boudoir photography, and this is what I was doing until things changed. Suddenly, I started to get different type of women that looked like me, women that were bigger than me, or they were very thin, or they were older than me, or they were more damaged than me, and they wanted to the same thing. They wanted to look beautiful in pictures and feel beautiful. And these women opened my eyes to the possibility that maybe I could do something like this. When I was doing brides, I never considered doing a boudoir session because I didn't look like them. It's like, that's for young girls. That's not for me. I'm like 38 and size 12. But when I started to photograph these other women, suddenly, I started to wonder, if I've been wrong all these years, because I didn't have children, so my body didn't go through a pregnancy, and I photographed a lot of women who had children, so I saw what pregnancy does to a woman's body. And then I started to compare myself, and when they look so beautiful in their photos, I wonder, I wonder how I look, because I think my skin is better, or I'm younger, or I have longer hair, things like that. So that's what gave me the courage to do a boudoir session. So when I did my first boudoir session, it really changed my life, because for the first time in my life, I saw myself through the eyes of people. I had a very distorted image in my head of what I looked like. I avoided mirrors. I dressed with baggy clothes. I hardly do any hair and makeup, or dress sexy or anything like that. And when I saw these pictures, I saw for the first time that I was beautiful, and I started to feel worthy, and my life changed completely, and I was feeling, now my life is different. I feel that I'm enough, and that I'm smart and strong and deserve what I want, and I'm important. I can achieve my dreams. I deserve love, and probably the biggest one, that I belong. I belong somewhere. So compared to the woman that I used to be, where I was feeling less that good enough and not pretty, you know, my life now is totally completely different. And but I don't want to get myself ahead of the game to tell you, you know, how exactly this happened, this transformation. I want to talk about, back up just a little bit, and want to tell you that it is not your fault the way you feel about you. Through the years, after I did my first boudoir session to the moment I'm recording this webinar, it's been 10 years. And through those 10 years, I have learned photograph so many women, and I have studied myself and my own transformation so much that I'm able to now, pick it down into small pieces and give it to you so you understand what is going on in your head. And I'm here to tell you that the feelings that you have are not your fault. The beliefs you have about about you are neither true nor real. Let me spell right there. I meant to say the beliefs that you have about who you are neither true nor real. And these beliefs that you have were acquired in your childhood, and they are the result of your upbringing, unwritten rules, standards, expectations, beliefs from family, friends, media, society, religion, classmates, teacher, people in general. The media where we grow up in, that's what makes us believe those things about us, those beliefs. And because one of the human needs is the need to belong and be accepted, in order to achieve this, we try to follow these unwritten rules and expectations. So we're accepted into the group, that nobody casts us away for not doing what we're supposed to do. So in the process, instead of pursuing what we want and our true nature, we engage in behaviors to please those from whom we need love, acceptance, respect, and admiration. So we don't become outcasts. We become people pleasers. And the biggest lie fed to us is that our looks define our worth as women. Unless we look in a certain way, we are not worth of love, admiration, respect, the right to be called beautiful, the right to have certain jobs, aspiring to date men that they tell us they're out of our league, or catering to our needs. Something that sticks in my mind is that there's designers for celebrities that would not design for plus-size women. So, because they don't feel plus-size women are worth of their talents. So by the time we are adults, we feel unfulfilled with our life. And despite our accomplishments like a college degree, a career, a family, health, beautiful children, devoted husband, financial stability, we're still not good enough. So let's talk about what happens when we live with these beliefs of feeling the way we feel. We live in a cycle of low self-esteem. And it is a cycle that it feeds on itself over and over and over. It starts with a negative self-talk about who we are, and then it goes into low achievements in our life, and then negative perception of self and others. That leads to unhappy relationship. That leads us then to have a lack of self-confidence, and as a result, we keep doing negative self-talk to ourselves, and the cycle continues over and over. So I'm going to tell you how I lived my low self-esteem cycle. starting with this, everything you can start from the negative self-talk, what we tell ourselves. So I was telling myself that I wasn't beautiful enough, that I was not thin enough, not smart enough, not worthy of love. I couldn't get what I wanted. Things just happen to other people, but not to me, the things that I want. I'm not important and I don't belong. So by having this self-talk to myself, as a consequence, I had low achievement in my life. I failed at losing weight. I would marry for the wrong reasons. I quit school. When I was entering my PhD program, I quit it because I thought I wasn't good enough. I had a negative attitude and always thought the worst of everything. I was a pessimistic. I complained a lot, especially to the wrong people. Instead of who I should complain to, I would go and talk behind their back. I would gossip a lot. I would start fights. And I would actually sleep a lot, just kind of like an escape. And as a consequence, I have a very negative perception of myself as well as others. I thought, I'm just lazy. I'm always going to be fat. I'll never marry. Men only want pretty, skinny girls. I'm a loser. I'm not attractive. I really believe that women who dress up and look like models are superficial. And I just had a bad perception of men in general. So by having all this negative perception of myself and others, as a consequence, I developed very unhappy relationships. My marriages were very unhappy, all three of them. I was constantly fighting with my sister and my mother. And I didn't develop any true friendships. I didn't have a good relationship with my boss. It was polite, but it wasn't really good. And when I was married and I had stepkids, there was just not a good relationship between us. I really believe that they hated me. So I didn't have good relationship with them. So that caused me to have very low self-confidence in me, in myself. I wouldn't speak up at work and I would just complain with others. I wouldn't confront my husband for fear of having a fight, or I was afraid that he would leave me. I wasn't able to make eye contact with most of the time. And I didn't argue or avoided confrontation on things that I felt were wrong. I just didn't speak up. And I was really afraid of asking for what I really wanted. Because I thought I didn't deserve it. I had no right to ask for that. So that fed again into the negative self-talk, that I wasn't good enough, or thin enough, or smart enough, or deserving. I was never going to have a good marriage, and that was as good as it got. So it just went on and on like that since I was a teenager until my mid-30s. Now, on the other hand, you have the high self-esteem cycle that works exactly the same way than the low self-esteem cycle. You have a self-talk, but this time is positive. The achievement is high. The perception of others and yourself is positive. Your relationships are rewarding. And you have high self-confidence in yourself, so you keep doing positive self-talk. So now this is how I live my high self-esteem cycle, or how normally, you would expect to live a high self-esteem cycle. You tell yourself, or I used to I tell myself, I am beautiful, I am worth it, I am enough, I deserve what I want, I am important, I can achieve my dreams, I deserve love, and I belong. It's all self-talk, but it's all positive. So that causes me to have achievements in my life. Now I work out and eat to be healthy and not skinny. So I achieve a healthy body that is beautiful and healthy. I left, had the courage to leave my third marriage and, all the marriages, but the last one was the most difficult one. In my attitude is now very positive for everything that happens in my life, even with things when they don't go perfect. I always say things happen for a reason. This is a good thing. This is just a wake-up call for me to wake up and pay attention. So I always have a positive attitude, and I live in gratitude. I appreciate other people's talents and potential. I wake up early, and I started a business. I had the courage to leave my job and go full-time in photography. And so this changed my perception about me and others. Now I really perceive myself as being strong and smart, healthy and beautiful. I really believe that I would find true love someday, and I have now. Now I believe that there's good men out there, and I perceive myself as being a very successful woman. I'm a very attractive woman. And my belief about other women has totally changed. Whenever I see a beautiful woman who is dressed up and, she's just absolutely gorgeous, I think she's just confident. I don't think she's, a bitch or anything. I really appreciate women that really, they look what models, like what we all want to look like. And my perception of them is totally, totally different. So my perception of life, myself, and others, it's now very, very positive. That has rewarded all my relationships in every aspect because I found the right man for me. I got very close to my mom and my sister. We stopped fighting because they were my worst critics about my looks. And I would feel always offended. Even when they were trying to be kind to me, I would just start a fight. And now it's the opposite. We actually, joke about it, and it's like, just pass the ice cream, and really, really enjoy each other like we never did before. And I developed true friendships. I got close to friends that I had not seen for a while. I reconnected with them, and I cultivate close, intimate relationships with my friends. I really connect with my clients, and I help a lot of my girlfriends in their own struggles and establish solid business partnerships. So this has really affected all type of relationships in my life. And that has caused me to become a very high self-confident woman. I'm not afraid to question and give an opinion because I'm not afraid of saying something stupid or silly. It's just an opinion, and you don't have to agree with it. So I'm not afraid to speak up anymore. I definitely don't accept less than what I want from a relationship. I'm very, very clear about what I want. And I speak up and I ask for it. And if you can give it to me, then I just leave the relationship. I don't blame you or, make you look bad or tell you you're a bad person. It's like, I respect who you are, but it's just not for me. I definitely do a lot of eye contact now. I think it's just so powerful because it's just a powerful way to connect with people. And I love to do public speaking. I am not afraid to do that. It's quite a rush. And I ask for what I want and not afraid to fail. I became a risk taker. So that, it just feeds my positive self-talk about who I am. So, and this is how the high self-esteem cycle works. Same mechanism than the low self-esteem. So the trick is, how do you go from a low self-esteem cycle to a high self-esteem cycle? How do you jump from one to the other? Well, what is stopping you from jumping? Really, we can all, it looks, now that it's all broken down exactly, what you're doing in your low self-esteem cycle and you know how you want to feel, how do you move from one to the other? It's very simple. It's your beliefs about you. That's the one thing that is stopping you. And to really help you break down your beliefs about you, where they're coming from, so that you can get a hold of them, and cut them from the roots, or at least not let them control your life, I'm going to, explain it a little bit more into detail. So the beliefs about you, when you're in that low self-esteem cycle, you feel that, or you tell yourself, oh, I'm not pretty, I'm too old for a new relationship, or I'm too old to have sex, or to put a bikini, or too old to put on those certain clothes, or I don't like my body, I'm not smart, I'll never find love, I'll never fulfill my dreams, it happens to others but not to me, I'm not important, I'm a failure. So that's how the self-talk that we do to ourselves when we are trapped in the low self-esteem cycle. So these beliefs are neither true nor real. They were acquired in your childhood due to your own upbringing, as I said before, and it is up to you to change these beliefs. Society, family, parents, they put those beliefs in us, not on purpose. It just happens. But they cannot take them away. They try by telling us, oh, you're beautiful, you're really good, but we just don't believe it. So it's up to us to change these beliefs. So in order to help you change these beliefs, I'm going to explain the four beliefs, major beliefs that we have about who we are that dominate our lives. And we all have at least one. And it's like something that limits us from really achieving happiness. The first belief, and most people have this belief, is the belief of being fundamentally flawed. The belief that there is something fundamentally flawed about you, and that is the reason why you don't deserve what you wish for. So when things are going well, you do something to mess it up. For example, if your relationship is going really well, you start a fight because there's got to be something wrong with this guy. Good relationships don't happen to me. That's what happened to me. So you convict yourself from a crime you didn't commit. Like, for example, I'm just a fat woman. That's what I would tell myself. And it's like I blame my body for it. So I convicted myself from something I didn't do. And then you are driven by the fear of failure. You had the belief that you are not good enough, even if you try and succeed. That was for me. I got through my master's degree, and I succeeded in having a career, a job, but I didn't believe I was good enough even after I succeeded. So you stay small. You stay small because you are afraid of failing. You don't try things because it's safe. Because if you fail, if you try something, but you just try it a little bit, if you fail, at least you fail small. So you don't dare to go to the next. So the other belief about ourselves is disloyalty and abandonment. And I'm going to tell you how this works. You believe that by reaching your full potential, you will end up alone. Be disloyal to your roots and leave behind people from your past. You focus on pleasing people, following the rules, trying always to be accepted. You do anything not to disappoint your parents, boss, husband, kids, etc., for fear of ending up alone. You hold yourself back, or when you are reaching your dream, you sabotage yourself. That, for example, you get back to school and then your kids are starting to complain, or your husband, so you don't want to disappoint them, and he threatened to leave you, so you quit school. It's kind of like that. The other is the belief of that you are a burden. The belief that your success will be a burden to others you love. So you hold yourself back from asking for help, favors, advice, support, money, etc. You don't want to cause any trouble and be a nuisance for fear of bothering others. So you stay small. You feel you are already a burden and don't have the right to ask for more. This is something that at least I find a lot in my society in Mexico, that women that are homestay moms, they're very meek, very submissive. That's probably why the perception of Mexican women is like that, because they don't make their own money. And the macho mentality of men in Mexico is that a woman stays home and I'm going to give you the money that I want to give you. And as a woman, you feel that he's already doing so much for you. We really believe that they're doing us a favor by marrying us and supporting us. So we don't feel that we have the right to ask for more. And it should be totally, the opposite, because, they're the ones having the kids and raising the kids and keeping the home. And it's a 24/7 job. I'm pretty sure you identify with that. Guys just work 8 hours and that's it. So anyway, I don't want to speak for anybody, but that's just an example. Believing that you are just that you don't deserve to ask for more because you are already being a burden. And the other belief is outshining others. You believe that if you pursue your full potential, you will make others feel or look bad. And this will cause you to be criticized, put down, cast out, rejected, or abandoned. So you don't speak up, you don't offer suggestions, you don't try new things, you don't pursue your dreams because that will make others angry and jealous of you. You believe that you cannot be happier, prettier, more successful, more popular, smarter than your boss, your husband, your best friend, your siblings, because if you are, they will leave you or cast you aside. So those are the 4 beliefs that stop people from really jumping to a level of happiness that they wish, but they don't know how. So I hope that you, by studying these different beliefs, you can find yours. And by identifying your beliefs about yourself, then you can start moving forward. So the jump to change your beliefs about you is going from your low self-esteem cycle to your high self-esteem cycle. So when you identify your beliefs, for example, I was always made to believe that I wasn't pretty enough, that I was too tall and too awkward, and no man was gonna want me. And they would tell me, "Oh, it's because you're just too good for any man." Yeah. Tell that to a teenager. That is just, I didn't love with the cutest kid in school, right? So you need to make a jump to change these beliefs about you. So how do you make this jump? It's really that one step. So Boudoir could be the bridge that you're looking for to jump. I'm going to talk about that, but it could be anything else. Some people go back to school and prove to themselves that they can finish school, to prove that they're smart. Other people decide to run a marathon to prove to themselves that they can stick to a program and get healthy. Other people go and jump from an airplane, go skydiving to get over their fear of dying, or taking risks, jumping into the unknown. So there's a lot of things, and you had to find your own bridge that will help you jump from a low self-esteem cycle to the high self-esteem cycle. I'm going to talk about Boudoir as this bridge to jump from one side to the other. That's what happened to me. I was already in the process of working on my high self-esteem cycle, but I just couldn't nail it. It was until the moment that I did a Boudoir session that the jump was definite and permanent and irreversible. I just can't go back anymore. So why Boudoir? Why does Boudoir work so well to jump from the low self-esteem cycle to the high self-esteem cycle in such a dramatic, permanent way? Well, Boudoir is all about body image. And the number one source of shame in women is body image. In reality, 90% of women, including myself, despite of everything that I just told you, it still happens to myself. 97% of women have at least one I hate my body moment every day. And if you say you don't, my respects. You have my full respects. But the odds are that every day you had that splint of a thought, maybe in the morning when you wake up and suddenly you have puffy eyes. And you go like, ugh, look at my face. And then you just, it happens to me, but then just snap out of it because that doesn't define me. And when we have a bad perception, we're talking about body image. So when we have a bad perception of our physical appearance, the one thing that has in childhood defined our worth as women, we feel not good enough. Since our childhood, we are made to believe by the media, magazines, even the toys that we play with, the comments from my family, oh, such a pretty girl. Instead of like, okay, she's, a little bit chubby and cute, but not pretty. So all that is fed to us since your childhood. Our physical appearance is what defines our worth. That's why we convict ourselves so much of like it's our fault not looking like a model. And that's why we develop this bad perception. So when we don't have a good perception about ourselves, the one thing that dominates 90% of women, we don't feel good enough. That's why Boudoir works so well, because it's all about body image. If we change our own perception so that we are not ashamed of our physical appearance, we start to develop confidence and begin the high self-esteem cycle. That's the key, changing our perception to jump from one cycle to the next. We realize that our physical appearance doesn't define our worth and start focusing our energy into the things that really matter to us. The moment that I realized I was beautiful just as I was, as I stopped starving myself, beating myself for not going to the gym or having a vacation and pigging out, and started focusing on my family, my health, my business, my horse. I love my horse. The things that really mattered to me. I started traveling more and spend more time with my family, because at the end, I realized that's the most important thing I have in my life. And stop worrying about what to wear so I don't look fat, just by changing how I perceive myself. That's why Boudoir changed my life. And by changing my perception, I jumped to the high self-esteem cycle. So how Boudoir has helped other women. I told you about how it helped me, but I want you to hear from clients that I have photographed. Jessica came to me a while ago, and we were crying over the phone when she told me her story. And then she sent me this message about her experience. She said, as a 30-year birthday gift, I decided to give these photos to myself. I've never been thin, never happy with my appearance. I battle a chronic condition in addition, which affects energy level and internal organs. That said, I have days where I loathe my body, inside and out. I wanted to show myself that I am beautiful despite my flaws. And she was. She is absolutely beautiful. When she saw those images, she was beyond herself because she said, like, this reminds me of how beautiful I am and not focus on my physical condition, but in how beautiful I am. In these pictures, I don't see my physical condition, my chronic condition. So it just touched my heart, working with her. Well, it touches my heart to work with pretty much everybody. Now we have Catherine, gorgeous 50-something woman. And she said, life is full of unexpected turns. And she had quite a story to tell me that I cannot share with you. But it was something very, very unexpected that just came out and just took the rug from under her feet. Taking a dark moment and finding your light is truly a gift. Thanks to Argentina for helping me find my light again. I'm not sure if I enjoyed the day of my session or the weeks before, making me the priority more. Finding the perfect thing to wear, running instead of making dinner, getting my nails done and hair. After 35 years of family, kids, husband, and others, it was my turn. Thank you for making this day about me. I had a blast. I will probably do this again. Her husband actually came at the end of the session, and he was shocked when he saw the images. And I can tell that, that really brought them together in a way that, a very, very different way. Now we have Sarah. Sarah says, an empowering and invigorating experience. The feeling of seductive sexiness and comfortability all at once. The experience redefined my view and opinion of myself. Our bodies are amazing, and we are powerful creatures who should share more love towards ourselves. This was my second experience, and it topped the first. I remember when Sarah came the first time, I was just getting started with boudoir photography, and then she came once she was, I think she was already married or about to get married. And you can see that even women that look like models, because I truly believe she looks like a model, they still have their insecurities. And the women that we say, like, oh, I hate you, how can you say that? You look perfect. It really doesn't matter. It's a personal feeling, and we have to respect that. And we cannot get mad at them because we don't know what they have gone through in their lives, what their beliefs about themselves are. And then we have Ree. This was the best experience of my life. I was extremely comfortable and felt like nothing else matters at that moment but making me beautiful, and they nailed it. While reviewing the photos, I was speechless. I had never seen myself like this. That pretty much happens to everybody. It happened to me. I had never seen myself looking so good in my life, and my perception of myself, it was so wrong that when I saw the pictures, I was speechless, just like Ree. So if you were going to consider a boudoir session, to help you make your jump, I just have a little bit of advice for you about things that you should do and things that you should avoid. Things you should do is you should really research different studios and look for images of women like you. You want to know that they cater to you. I know that beauty sells, and it's very easy to photograph a young, perfect body, but that's just 10% of the women. 90% of us, we don't look like models. We have flaws. We're chubby. We have fat. We have imperfections, and you want to make sure that they cater to everybody. Quite often, I I have clients that come to me after going to other experiences, and and they tell me it's like they didn't know what to do with me. And a plus size, I'm a size 18 or 20, and it's like they were hiding me all the time. I want to see my body. I came here to love my body, but they only took pictures of my face. That crushed my heart because, man, if the photographer doesn't want to see your body, obviously that photographer has a huge problem accepting, big women in her studio. So make sure that the studio that you research has good examples of women that look like you so that you know what they can do for you. And find out who is photographing you and check his or her portfolio. There's tons of different types of studios. Some of them are one photographer, like mine. I'm always going to be your photographer. But then there's other ones who are chains, and they have dozens of photographers. So you want to know who's going to photograph you, and you want to know see her portfolio to know what you're going to get. You don't want to be misled about what you're going to get, thinking that it's going to be certain type of photography produced by the head photographer, and then you get one of the apprentices instead. And when you go shopping for lingerie, shop for your body type. I know it's very tempting to buy things that are very, very pretty, but I'd rather at least that's what I do for me. I go with pieces that are not that, like your typical amazing Victoria's Secret type of pieces. I go for pieces that are simpler, but they do so much for my body, and that make me feel comfortable because they enhance my body. And also make an appointment with plenty of time. This is not something that you just get up one day and decide to do. You have to be comfortable, and you might decide that if you're in your period, for example, you're not going to feel comfortable because you put 5-6 pounds of water weight, and even though you can't tell in the images, it's all about how you feel during those days. And if you're not comfortable, it's going to reflect in your pictures. So plan with a lot of time, and work around those things, or special days or holidays or deadlines to get your images. And definitely trust your photographer. The one that you pick her for a reason, so she knows better. No, don't be a control freak, basically. Just let them do their work. And yeah, some suggestions are great, but trust your photographer. They're the experts. And see this as a life-changing experience. Really, when you do a boudoir session, you're honoring your body. You are putting yourself in front of a camera, almost naked, so probably even naked. So it's a very vulnerable thing. Who does that voluntarily unless you're being paid for? I don't think nobody does that. So use that as a life-changing experience. You're going to invest time, money, and a lot of your emotional state to do something like this. So use it to your advantage. And finally, do it for you. You can share it with somebody, with your husband, your fiance, your boyfriend, your partner, but first do it for you, because the true gift that you give to your partner is the new confident you. They do appreciate the pictures, believe me. They're even going to look at them on the phone all the time. But if those pictures, as amazing as they can be, do not match a confident woman, they want nothing to do with it. They don't care. You could have the simplest, less than professional picture, but you are so confident and feeling good about yourself. That's what they want. That's what men want. They want us to be confident, stop being self-critics of ourselves and be so hung up about the way we look, and focus more about being with them and loving them and desiring them. So do this for you so that you can become this beautiful, confident, sensual woman. And then things not to do. Really, don't wait to lose weight. This is about loving your body all the time, not only when it is perfect. This is a self-love journey. You cannot love your body just when it's in the perfect shape. It's just like loving your kids just when they are behaving like they're good kids, and when they act up, you don't love them. You love your kids no matter what, whether they're acting up or not. Same thing for your body. This is about loving your body anyway, in any state or in any shape. And definitely do not select a studio based on price. I know that finances are a concern, but there's ways to get around it, because you're doing this to create an emotional transformation in you. See it as an investment, and you want a professional, somebody that has the expertise to help, to do this. And people who are very well qualified, just like doctors, they come with a price tag. So don't go for the cheapest option, because that's exactly what you're going to get, very cheap product. And don't see it as pretty pictures. This is an experience. And, you choose a studio, a photographer that shoots in a hotel, don't expect studio results. Location and light is everything. So know exactly what you're going to expect, and don't get mad if you don't get the results that you want to, because you're expecting that to transform a hotel in suddenly a professional photo studio. And definitely do not wait until you have someone to give it to. Do it for you, because by doing it for you, you're going to transform the way you feel about yourself, and then that right person is going to materialize into your life, and it's going to want you for that amazing, confident woman that you are. And good quality men want to be with a good woman, not with an insecure, low self-esteem woman. They want to be with a confident, strong, sensual woman. So become that woman, and the right man, come for you. So today I promised to tell you about my personal story. We did that. I told you why the way you feel is not your fault. And we talk about how the self-esteem cycle works, the high self-esteem and the low self-esteem cycle. And I told you how to jump from the low self-esteem cycle to the high self-esteem cycle. You find something to create a bridge to jump. And how your beliefs about you are what is stopping you from making the jump to feeling beautiful and fulfilled. I also told you about how Boudoir has helped women and myself to overcome their perception of themselves. And I told you a little bit about what you need to know to prepare for a Boudoir session. So here's what you need to know now in order to move forward. Even if you never do a Boudoir session, this is what you need to know in order to build that bridge to jump from the low self-esteem cycle to the high self-esteem cycle. First thing, you need to identify your beliefs about you. Find the source of those beliefs. Is it because you feel fundamentally flawed? Is that because you fear that you're going to be disloyal to your roots and end up alone? Is that because you think you are a burden? You don't deserve people's time and effort? Or do you think that, by being successful, you are going to outshine others, and then they're going to cast you away and end up alone? So realize these beliefs are not true and not real. They were put in you since childhood because of the way you were raised, and it is not your fault, but it is your responsibility to change that now. So establish how you're living your low self-esteem cycle. Draw it in a piece of paper and write down how you're doing the negative self-talk, how you are having the low accomplishments in your life, how you have negative perception of yourself and others, how you're having bad relationships in your life, how you live, demonstrate or, act with low confidence in yourself. So you can identify exactly what you are doing. And because this way, now you can build, now you can build a bridge to jump from your low self-esteem cycle to a high self-esteem cycle and start living in your high self-esteem cycle once you build that bridge, and then you can jump to it. So we have come to the end of this workshop, and as I promised, I have a free gift for you. It's a free ebook that is really going to help you continue in educate you more about how to build that bridge to jump from the low self-esteem cycle to a life of high self-esteem. It's called 7 Days to Self-Love, and then you can go to bit.ly/7 Days to Self-Love and download it for free. I'll leave it here for a second so you can write it down. But basically, in 7 days, each day you're going to do certain activities to help you identify certain things about you, and little by little, you're going to be taking actions every day, certain actions, and they're just going to complement what you learn today to help you, build your own bridge. Now you have a choice to make. How can I help you? I have set aside some time in the next week to talk to you personally about how Boudoir can help you achieve the transformation you desire and have been waiting for so long. And the cost is totally free. As I said before, you don't have to do a Boudoir session to build your bridge. A Boudoir session is just one way to do it. It's just one way to jump and make the transformation. But as I said before, it's a very efficient activity to do or experience to do, because it's all about body image. And body image is the #1 source of shame in women, and why we don't feel good enough because of the way we look, because we believe that our worth as women is based on our looks. Unless we are certain, color or height or level of prettiness or size, or unless we're certain something, we cannot be something. And it's pretty much all about our looks. That's why Boudoir works so well. So if you think that you want to find out more, this is how I can help you. We're going to have I'm going to set aside some time for you so we can talk, and it's going to be totally free. So who is this for? First of all, you must be 100% committed to changing how you feel about you no matter what. And also you have to be committed in investing in yourself and not allow this to come in your way. You must believe that doing a Boudoir session is going to help you change how you feel, and not use it to criticize your body. That's the last thing I want you to do. Come and do a session and then look at your pictures and go, oh, I knew it, I'm so ugly, look at me, I'm so fat, or my cellulite. No, you are committed to change the way you feel, and you're going to be kind to you and kind to your body and find the beauty. So you have to believe that by doing a Boudoir session, it is going to help you change how you feel. And you must be ready to embrace who you are, to turn your life around and become a happy woman. If you don't do this, this is not for you. So why am I doing this? In this conversation, we're going to talk about your reason to do a Boudoir session and help you get absolute clarity of how this is going to help you achieve the transformation you want, and very fast. And I'll tell you exactly how to prepare for it. You're going to have to do some homework and answer some questions for me, because it's a process for you to really dig into your own subconscious And those are things that probably you had never dared to even think or say out loud about you. So by doing this, you are going to really realize that, what the issues are, and help you decide if Boudoir can really, change this for you. So we're going to spend, between 30 minutes and 45 minutes, talking about you. There's so much more about the high self-esteem and the low self-esteem cycle that I can tell you to help you, realize and give you clarity in how do you really want to feel. So this is why I'm doing this. That's why you cannot just call and make an appointment, do a boudoir session. It's very, very important that first, we talk over the phone and really get good clarity and answer all your questions. And if you want me to help you and we think it's a good fit, I'm going to invite you to become one of my exclusive clients and offer you a special one-time all-inclusive package. Just to break it down to you, give you some information about this. It's very, very important that you love your face in your photos. Any picture that we take of ourselves, the first thing that we see is our face and our expression. If we don't like it, we don't like the picture. We delete it from our phone. So it's very important to have professional hair and makeup done for camera. So I have a professional hair and makeup in each one of the studios, and then I'm going to help you select your lingerie and put a plan together in the studio. And the images, there's going to be so many things that you like, and it's going to be overwhelming. You're not going to know what to pick. So I'm going to sit down with you. We're going to spend probably an hour to an hour and a half going through all the images, sorting them out, doing elimination, and then we're going to have the best 20 or 30 images of your session that are going to be absolutely the best, and that you're going to love them all. And then from there, I'm going to make a suggestion on a type of album or collection for you, and that's going to be all inclusive. And so when we talk on the phone, I'm going to give you a very significant, discount. It's going to be the one day I'm going to, for you to really save save money in an all-inclusive package. That's also why it's very important that we get on the phone so that you know exactly what to expect, because I don't want you to come to the studio and they say oh, I had no idea it was going to be this much. I hear that all the time from other people that are forced into pre-buying packages, and then they come to the studio and then they do their session and they hate their pictures and they have to keep them because they already paid for them. With me, that's not the case. You actually don't pay a penny to do your session or your hair and your makeup. I actually pay for that. I want to first show you how amazing you can look in pictures, and until you can see what I can do for you and you feel the transformation, then you decide how much money you're going to invest. But before that, that's what I'm saying. It's absolutely free. We're going to talk. You're going to make your appointment. You're going to come to the studio, and until you see your pictures is when you are going to make your investment. So this is not for you if you need to ask your husband for permission or money to do something for you. If your husband doesn't think that it's a good idea and you have to be asking, oh, can I go and take some pictures, or can I have money? If you don't have your own money, definitely do not waste your time talking to me, and because, I just don't want you to be disappointed. It's very, very important that you understand that this is something that you're going to do for you, and it's your only choice and your right to do. So if you are in a relationship in which you cannot make your own decisions, or there's no way you can come up with your own money to do this, or that your husband would freely give you the money for it, this is not for you. If you believe that you can get quality products and services for bargain prices, I'm sorry, but they have not invented anything like that yet. Quality comes with a price tag. Just like a Maserati, it's a Maserati for a reason, and you're going to pay for having a Maserati. So same thing, if you need to think about it, I don't think this is for you, because success loves speed. If you say, oh, I need to think about it, you're not very decisive. You still don't know what you want. I need you to be assertive and know that this is what you want to talk to me, and we'll figure out a way to make it happen. So if you're hesitant and you need to think about it, this is not for you. If you don't see the value of investing in an experience that will change your life forever, also this is not for you. This is an experience. This is about you. And it's just like, going to a doctor, heart surgery. You can't put a price on heart surgery. You have to see this as an investment of you to, have a better quality of life, for your family. It's an investment of you, the way you invest in a house, and that instead of, putting cheap materials, you put, like, for example, like cheap windows, you put thermic windows, because you know that at the end it's going to last forever, going to save you, in energy. This is all about investing and seeing the value of having the best, because you don't want to replace it or buying again. And I had many clients that they went to a studio, they spent a lot of money, and then they come and tell me, I hated my pictures, now I had to do it again. And I'm hoping that maybe you can give me one good picture of me. 20 pictures later, they're like beyond themselves. Also, if you don't have the belief that you deserve to invest in you, $1,000, $2,000, even $5,000 in improving your life and becoming happy about who you are, definitely you are not ready for this. This is something that you have to say, this is for me, I'm good enough, I deserve it, I want to change my life, and I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to let anybody to tell me I don't know how much it costs. So if you don't think you're worth investing in yourself, this is not for you. So if we work together, you will have my full attention. That's the one thing I promise you. I'm going to be totally devoted to you when I am with you. You will be my only client during your time at the studio, and me and my team will cater to you. You will have full privacy if that is what you want. I'm not going to lie to you. I do photograph at least 2 clients a day, and there could be a little bit overlap. But if you want absolute full privacy, I have done that for many of my clients. So you need to let me know, and you can have absolutely full privacy. I am not a big studio. I'm a boutique studio, and I'm not going to have 10 women running around. It's going to be my makeup artist, you, and me. That's it. So me and my sister will give you personal attention at the studio, and afterwards, when we're working on your images, we will be in contact with you in the design process so that you can give us your input and your final images. This is very important, because you have put a lot of time, effort, thinking, and you're going to make an investment. It has to be perfect. And I'm not going to deliver your final process until you see what it's going to look like and you give us your input, and then we're going to make all the changes until you're absolutely happy, and then we'll send it to production and deliver it to you. And I can promise you, I expect you to start feeling different the moment we talk over the phone, way before you even get to the studio. I can guarantee that. So I invite you to click below and it's going to take you to a page where you're going to start the process. You're going to fill an application and answer some questions, and then you're going to go into my personal calendar where you're going to see my available spots, and you're going to be able to select a time in which you're available. The spaces are very limited, so make sure that you sign up now to get into the studio and to get to talk to me as soon as possible. Once you make your appointment, you're going to get several reminders about your appointment, and at our conversation, we are going to talk about dates, and if you want to go to Chicago or you are going to be in Austin, whatever you want, all your questions are going to be answered in there. I will tell you about the type of investment. And the one thing that I want to reassure you is that if you think you cannot afford this, think twice. I'm not going to tell a price right here because prices change with time, and I don't want to give you something that is not adequate. But unless you are in welfare, believe me, most women can afford this because there is a payment plan, there is financing, and you just have, the point is that to have your own money, and wanting to do this. If for some reason, today they told you need a heart transplant tomorrow, or your child needs a heart transplant tomorrow, you had to come up with $20,000. Truth is that you will find a way to get $20,000. I mean, this is not a heart transplant, but it's all about wanting something. Kind of like when we go shopping and you find this fabulous pair of shoes, and normally we spend, I don't know, $60, $80 for a nice pair of shoes, but we just see these absolutely amazing shoes. They're like $500. We would have never spent so much money in shoes, but you put them on and they're fabulous, and just thinking about going out for drinks in those shoes, and they're gonna be shoes that you're gonna keep all your life or for many, many years. You buy them, you put in a credit card, you make payments, because they have a value for you. It's really important for you. Same thing for Boudoir. I know if changing the way you feel is very, very important to you, and you feel that you deserve to invest your money in yourself, you will see a way to make this happen, and I'm going to help you. I never had a client that left without being able to get everything that she wanted, way beyond what they thought about investing. Normally it would be 50% more, sometimes even twice as much. They just took the payment plan and they said, this is worth every penny, I want them all, I don't know when I'm going to do it myself. It's like I'll just take the payment plan and I make it happen. I never let money to be the reason why you don't do this. With me, you're always going to have my full support and all the help I can get you in order to get exactly what you want without going bankrupt. Unless you're in welfare or you don't have your own money, I can assure you you can afford this. So I invite you to click below. You go to http bit.ly/celebrate diva, and write it down. Just put it in your browser and start the process. I really can't wait to talk to you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart that you listened to everything I had to say. Even if we never meet, I hope that you found something of value out of something from my experience of how it transformed my life and how I help other women, that really help you change the way you feel, because that's why you're here. That's why you were here, because you really want to feel in a different way. Otherwise, you wouldn't give me an hour of your time. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for really listening to me. I really hope to talk to you pretty soon. I really look forward, reading your story and talking to you on the phone, I created your Boudoir studio, and then reading your testimonial of how you transform your life and how much you love your experience. So God bless. Go ahead and click on copy this address and put it in your browser and start the process. And hopefully I'll talk to you maybe even today or in a few days. Okay? Thank you and God bless.